Welcome to Toffee TV. I am joined by Andy. Adrisha Gueye as almost, or by the time this video's out, joined Paris Saint-Germain. He's leaving Everton anyway, we know that. Lots of talk about who might replace him. Some people thought nobody would replace him, thought that Delph was the replacement. Others have said no, he'll be replaced. Now, Marco Silva himself said that he needs a direct replacement. This fella has been spoken about for the last few days, Jean-Philippe Gbamin of Mainz. What do we know about him, and?
He's been a lot of people know him. He used to play for Lens in Liga 2. Mainz buy a lot of players from France, so it's sort of, that's a place they scout. Basically, he's a centre midfielder, defensive midfielder. He can also play centre back. He did come through the system at Lens as a right back as well, so he can play multiple positions. 6'1", powerful midfielder, really good running with the ball, attacks the space. So you watch him and he'll get the ball in midfield, and if there's like a 10-yard run, he'll just hit the space. He's a confident enough player to push that ball through there. Yeah. And that's a problem, because when you've got a unit like him, like Decore for Watford is, it's a problem when he's on the ball, because he's coming at you at speed. He has got that burst of speed that you need. Good pass to the ball. I wouldn't say he's like a super progressive passer, but I think he'll get better when he gets to Everton, because he'll be playing with better players in a more in less counter-attacking system. He's a good passer, long range passer, and really good. So you can clip the ball, touch. He puts good backspin on the ball and stuff like that. Drops it into the striker's feet. Defensively, very good as well. I'm not going to say he's as good as Gueye, just a little bit different. Yeah. I think what people are quite focused on is the tackle numbers that Gueye puts up, and I think that's quite league specific, because a lot of the top tacklers come from either Premier League or France. Yeah. Germany, not so much. So maybe that's league specific, and he will put better numbers here. But he's a good defender in terms of the number of defensive duels he wins. Really good as well, similar to Ghana, about 65 to 70%. So yeah, good player. And for me, I understand. I know I've been on about Sangare for months, and people are obviously well aware of that. But I understand why they go for someone like Gbamin over a Sangare, because he is more refined. He's a bit old. He's ready to probably he's not going to be overawed by the league straight away, and he's a bit more. He's best under pressure at the moment. So when he's under pressure, he's got the confidence and the skill and the awareness to beat pressure constantly with the ball at his feet, which I think it's a good thing. Plus, I think what we see with Gbamin is we can play 4-3-3 with him in the team, because he can play a 6. He can play as a Ghana type in the 2, so we can play both roles, so it offers different options for us. So, and I think he offers the discipline that Ghana didn't when playing that deep. Right. And I think that'll help Gomez as well at times. Even though at times he'll get on the ball and push forward, he'll also just sit in and protect the back four and let the full-backs bomb on as well.
I know Liverpool wanted them last summer. Jurgen Klopp tried to get him last summer. It didn't happen for one reason. They were looking at him for being a centre-back.
He can play centre-back, yeah.
In terms of, obviously, Ghana, like you've just said there, we all love Ghana for what he does. His ability to go and put out fires is incredible. He gets through a lot of work every time. Sometimes it's his own doing with some of the thing, but he's always there and putting fires out and stuff. But there is aspects to his game that he needed to improve on. There's no question about that. This fella, for me and for what I've seen of him, as better attributes than Ghana in some respects.
Yes.
And obviously, like you said, the numbers may not be as good as Ghana. But overall, it might be better that we actually move forward with this kind of player.
Fit maybe, yeah. You've got to look
the way
at
it fits in.
Yeah, you've got to look at that in terms of, Ghana at times, like towards the end of last season, started to push forward a lot more, didn't he? He did. And I think what Gbamin will do is he offers that ability, which Silva's been, I think, wanting since he came to having someone to sit in. Morgan Schneiderlin can do it, but with Morgan Schneiderlin he's a bit too safe, I think, for Silva. You want someone like this lad. So I always used to say about Gueye, like, when it was him and Gomez in the field, you'd have two Mark and Gomez essentially out the game. Yeah. And people would sit off Gueye. If you sit off this lad, he'll expose the space. He'll be in the space trying to play the ball, with running at the ball, which is a problem. Whereas Ghana sometimes, towards the end of the season he did it more, but at times he just, he was forced to pass it when maybe he didn't want to and stuff. And I think that's how Everton at times, the possession, we didn't have as much possession we would have liked, and controlled games we would have liked, because teams sort of exposed that weakness in Ghana's game. I think he did get better towards the end of the season, as I said. But this lad offers a different option entirely, as you say. He can play that like 6 role where he can clip long balls into the channels for players. He can link up with Gomez. He can go beyond Gomez if he needs to be. So he can offer us a different thing. And I think maybe it might be a better tactical fit at times for Silva especially.
I think the other thing is the physicality of him. Obviously Ghana's a smaller stature, but but obviously he was everywhere. He was all over you, wasn't he? Fantastic. The way he'd get in people's faces. This fella, like you say, is physical. He's not only tall, he's a big lad, isn't he? And you mentioned Decore before, who we know that Marco Silva likes at Watford. So I've seen this fella running with the ball and just brushing people aside, and I've seen him hitting long and short passes. He scored a couple of goals last season, although goals quite clearly aren't his strong suit.
I'm not looking for that. We're looking for more someone who can sort of basically break the lines, expose people. You know, that, as I say, with that running ability, you know, if you can run through the lines, basically start panicking. Everyone starts panicking, which is what we need. I wouldn't say he's like Decore. Decore gets in the box. He's not going to get in the box for you. But if anyone wants to look at, there's a game last season where they played Frankfurt towards the end of the season. They won 2-0. He set up Mateta's goal. Just goes past two players down the byline and just cuts the ball back. You know, he's got speed as well. It's not just it's not just his physicality, it's the speed as well.
Well, there's a tough one for you.
Yeah.
Because I know you love Ibrahim Shangari, and I think he's a fantastic player as well. At the moment, to fit straight into Everton's team and to...
Don't make me look quiver.
Go on. Which player would you go for?
I'd still probably say Sangare. I'm not saying he's better. I don't think he is. But for me, I understand why they're going for Gbamin in the sense that he is more experienced. He's not as raw at times on the ball. His positioning is probably better than Sangare. Sangare's got a higher ceiling for me.
Yeah.
But you've got to look at it from, you know, I think people often do, you know, obviously talent's great and all that. But you've got to look at what's currently out on the pitch. Marco Silva and Marcel Brands can't go out and sign 10, 11 gems, as we like to call them. It just wouldn't work. They need to have these players who are ready to step in, you know, physically as well as sort of mentally as well. And I think that's why Gbamin will be the choice. You can always bring Sangare and play midfield 3 with them eventually. It's not it's not like, oh, you know, I wouldn't completely say we'll never sign a Sangare, but I think Gbamin, that's why they want him, is because he's just a bit more ready for the Premier League, I think, in their eyes anyway.
And that's what we've got to look at now, haven't we? And that seems to be the theme that Marco Silva and Marcel Brands have adopted when they've come to Everton. They've got a clear idea of how they want to play. He had to discover who could do it and who couldn't do it last season.
It takes time,
having the squad of players, but we did finish the season very, very strongly indeed. Garner turned in some fabulous performances after he lost his, you know, we didn't get the move in January. But I would say that up until those last 10 games or so, people would have been like, if he'd have gone in January, because I don't think he was great in the first half of the season.
He was good, but he wasn't great. I think the problem with Garner, I'd look at this in terms, he's really good away from home for us, really, like, really is. That's where he really comes, because when we haven't got a lot of possession, he's winning the ball back constantly for us, and at home, he isn't winning his back as much as I suppose, because he probably doesn't need, because we're on the front foot more. So it also depends on what teams you're playing. Against bigger teams, Garner's great, because he's just breaking things up all the time, but then with the ball, you need more quality on the ball, and sometimes when against two banks of four again, that quality on the ball, we need a bit more of that. I think we're Garner go, and I think I'm not saying we can do better than Garner, because I think he's been great for us.
Oh, he has, yeah.
He's a super player, and his attitude, as you say, you can't fault. Some players would throw the toys out the pram, as they say. I just think that it's probably maybe Silva wants to go a different way. Maybe it's the right money for his age as well. He's in the 30, you're getting 30 odd million for him. It's probably a good deal. I think it's probably just, and we can't really deny him a move to PSG. Let's be honest. He's at the right time. He's never going to get another chance to go to PSV, I guess. PSG. Sorry. So I think it's probably the right time for him to go.
Yeah, I think Everton. I think he done right by Everton after we turned the move down, and I think Everton have looked at it and probably thought, well, he's not going to sign another contract, and he wants to go. And if he wants to go, we can get the money. Obviously, Marco Silva would have been happy for him to stay, said that he wanted him to stay. Yeah,
you don't want to break the spine up, do you, of your team? Yeah,
but if you're going to lose him... So, to finish, away from home, can this fella do the similar job that you're talking about, Garner, in your opinion?
So, yeah, but it's not... It's winning the ball back's one thing, but protecting the back fours. And I think that's why Schneiderlin came to the team towards the end of the season, if you look at it, because he does offer that shield. He's not as athletic as this lad, though. His lateral movement isn't the same, so you get a different type of player with Gbamin. But I suppose if you you know, Gomez isn't the greatest defender. Let's be honest here. Someone who's got positional awareness and someone who can protect that back forward is essential. So bringing him in is a different type of Gueye, because what Gueye does best is he chases the ball running down.
Yeah.
But that's sometimes, if he doesn't win the ball, it exposes you, because then you've only got Gomez to beat, really, and you know, he's not the best at it. So it's just a different type of player. You know, that's not Hungary. He's got a particular style. Kante's similar. I know people thought it was sacrilege last season when he took Kante out the 6, but Kante is also another one who likes to chase the ball, run it down, and he wants Jorginho, Sarri to sit in front of the back four. Maybe he's not as good a defender as this lad, but that's what he wanted, and that's what you do. You ask for that positional sense, not to move out there, or basically out. Yeah. So I think that's what he provides us, and I think it does offer us that opportunity to play Delph and Gomez and him as a midfield. We've got that midfield three against maybe bigger sides, and you want to try and break the ball, you know, win the ball back and sort of get, especially with the 3 passing as well. You know, that's Gomez can pass it long. Delph can pass it long really well, and so can this lad. Play counter-attack, and that's what Silva wants away from home against big teams.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good to me, yeah.
We'll have to see whether Jean-Philippe Gbamin is the man to replace Idrissa Gana Gueye. Obviously, Sangare is a name that's been mentioned as well. There's another Tushar.
He's more like a Schneiderlin type, I think. Again, that's why they want him.
I know you're unenamoured by him.
It's just because on the ball, he does the job that Silva wants. Like him, where he'll sit in front of the back foot. It's just not on the ball. It's just a bit safe, I think, for me. Yeah. And it's Bakayoko again. I like Bakayoko. I know people, but
just very quickly, Bakayoko. What's your take on him?
He's a midfield destroyer, but the problem with Bakayoko in the Premier League is he hasn't got enough time on the ball, and that's why he struggled at Chelsea. I think in a 3, if he's just popping the ball off to Gomez or a Delph or Gylfi or whatever, it's fine. In a 2, though, they'll just do what they did again with Gueye last season. They'll sit off Gueye and go Bakayoko, and they'll just have 2 men on Gomez, and then it disrupts play for us. And that's, I like Bakayoko. I've always been a fan, but I think in Italy, where you have more time on the ball, it suited them more than the Premier League, and same in France as well.
There you go. Let us know what you think in the comments. Would you be happy with this fella replacing Ghana? Or do you not care? Do you just want someone in because you're getting a bit worried with all of these outs? I think we've all just got to go with what the management team think. That's my opinion. They know what to do, don't they?
Brands is playing a smart game. I know people are going, why are we waiting to sign players? I think they were told this lad was about 35 million. Everton don't want to pay that. They probably want to pay under 30. They'll just wait till the optimum time, put a bid in, and then I think they'll probably time to take the money, and that's the smart game. You can't rush it. You know. And
Mainz will want him to push.
Yeah, you could be like Man United and pay top dollar for everyone, but we can't afford to do that. We need more players in. So
there you go. Let us know what you think in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and if you want more videos, join us on Patreon. Big thanks to Andy. See you later.